Every day I discovered that small habits shaped my destiny, even when I didn't notice them. Back then, I thought success was about luck, about being in the right place at the right time, or knowing the right people. I kept waiting for a miracle to knock on my door. But the truth is, no miracle ever came. Instead, life kept whispering to me through my failures, through my frustrations, through my sleepless nights. It whispered, "Change your habits, and you will change your life." I remember mornings when I would wake up late, already behind, before the day even started. I'd rush, I'd complain, and I'd blame circumstances for my lack of progress. I felt invisible, unnoticed, like success was always slipping past me and into the hands of someone else. But deep down I knew something was wrong, not with the world but with me. I had built a pattern of carelessness, and life was reflecting that carelessness right back to me. That realization was painful. It hit me hard that my daily choices were either creating my future or quietly destroying it. Habits, even the smallest ones, were the invisible architects of my destiny. And the scariest part, they were shaping me long before anyone else could see the results. That truth changed everything. You see, success does not arrive in grand dramatic moments. It does not show up because you shouted the loudest or demanded the most attention. Success is attracted by order, by discipline, by quiet strength, and in those days when I felt defeated, I asked myself a hard question. Am I becoming the person I respect, or am I drifting into a version of myself I will regret? That question still haunts me, but it also guides me. I began to see that every morning when I rise, I'm not just waking up, I'm setting the tone for who I am becoming. When I choose discipline, when I decide to start my day with clarity, I am signaling to life itself that I am ready to receive more. That shift in thinking became the first step toward my transformation. My friend, this video is not about shortcuts, and it's not about hype. It's about habits, the small, quiet, consistent actions that build a life of purpose and success. So before we go deeper into this journey together, I want to invite you to do something powerful, like this video right now. Share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to this channel. Because as we walk through these lessons, I promise you what you learn here will not only inspire you, it will transform you. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes I will reveal how building the right habits doesn't just bring success, it makes success inevitable. And the story I'm about to share isn't theory, it's my life. I used to believe success was about one big breakthrough, a single lucky chance, a sudden opportunity that would change everything. But as I grew, I learned a painful truth: life doesn't work like that. Success doesn't come in explosions of luck. It comes quietly, invisibly, through the habits you practice every single day. When I look back at the times I was frustrated with my life, I realized it wasn't because I lacked talent, and it wasn't because the world was unfair. It was because my daily behavior didn't match my dreams. I wanted success, but my habits were pulling me in the opposite direction. And then it clicked. Habits are the invisible architecture of our future. They are the unseen hands shaping our results long before anyone notices. Think about it. Every day when I hit the snooze button, I was casting a silent vote for procrastination. Every time I scrolled endlessly on my phone instead of reading something valuable, I was building the identity of someone careless. And yet I wondered why success wasn't coming to me. The truth was right there. Life was mirroring my habits back to me. But here's the beautiful part. Habits can change, and when they change, life itself begins to shift. I started to experiment with small things, waking up just 30 minutes earlier, writing down 3 tasks I would complete no matter what, reading for 15 minutes instead of wasting that time online. They were small changes, almost unnoticeable to others, but inside, they were shaping me into a different person. Success, I realized, is not about who shouts the loudest or who looks the busiest. It is quietly attracted to the person whose habits reflect discipline, order, and clarity. The people we admire, whether leaders, thinkers, or men of wisdom like Earl Nightingale, are not defined by one act of brilliance. They are defined by simple, repeated devotion to excellence. And here's where it gets powerful. Habits don't just shape what you do, they shape who you are becoming. Every time I chose discipline over ease, I was telling life, I am ready. Every time I kept a promise to myself, I built trust in my own identity. And soon opportunities, people, and respect began to move toward me. Not because I chased them, but because my habits made me the kind of person they were drawn to. It's not magic, it's cause and effect. If your habits are careless, life will mirror that carelessness back to you. But if your habits are excellent, life has no choice but to reward you. That's why I say habits are magnetic. They quietly pull success toward you. Let me ask you something. Are your habits today aligned with the future you want tomorrow? Take a moment and think. Are your actions deliberate, or are they driven by impulse and emotion? Because one thing is certain, you are always becoming something. The only question is, are you becoming the version of yourself that you respect, or drifting into a version you will regret? My friend, understand this. The most powerful transformation does not occur when you change your environment. It happens when you change your habits. That's the real starting point of success. And if you're still watching this, I know you are serious about change. Do me a favor, type in the comments, "Habits build destiny." I want to see who is truly committed to building the life they deserve. This is the hidden power of habits. They quietly attract success without noise, without applause, without fanfare. And in the moments when nobody is watching, that's when greatness is really being built. There was a time in my life when I couldn't understand why I kept failing. I worked hard for a week, got motivated for a few days, and then fell right back into the same old destructive patterns. I blamed my circumstances, I blamed people around me, and sometimes I even blamed God. But deep down, I knew the truth. I wasn't a victim of fate, I was a victim of my own habits. It's easy to say, if only I had more money, if only I lived in a better place, if only I had the right connections, then my life would be different. I used to tell myself these lies all the time. But here's what I discovered. Those excuses were nothing more than a mask to cover my own lack of discipline. The real enemy wasn't outside. It was within me. I had built a pattern of self-sabotage. I'd promised myself that I would wake up early and then hit the snooze button 5 times. I'd tell myself I'd focus on my goals and then waste hours scrolling through distractions. Each time I broke a promise to myself, I was weakening my own confidence. I wasn't just losing time, I was losing trust in myself. And when you can't trust yourself, you can't lead yourself anywhere. One day, I hit a breaking point. I looked in the mirror and didn't like the person I was becoming. I realized that I was drifting into a version of myself I would regret. That was the hardest truth to swallow. Success wasn't avoiding me, it was me pushing it away with every careless choice. The turning point came when I decided to take ownership. I told myself, if my habits created this mess, then my habits can also create my future. That single decision lit a fire in me. I didn't change overnight, but I started to fight back against those destructive patterns. I stopped blaming, and I started building. I remember the first time I actually followed through on a small promise to myself. It wasn't anything grand. I just woke up on time, resisted the urge to check my phone, and instead spent those quiet minutes journaling and planning my day. It felt small, but for the first time I felt in control. That feeling was addictive. I realized that every time I chose discipline over laziness, I was reclaiming a piece of my life. And here's the lesson I want you to take. Breaking free from destructive patterns isn't about willpower alone. It's about making one small conscious decision at a time. It's about proving to yourself that you can be trusted. Because every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're telling your brain, I am capable, I am disciplined, I am ready. Now I want to ask you something, my friend. Be honest with yourself. What destructive habit is holding you back right now? Maybe it's procrastination. Maybe it's wasting time on meaningless distractions. Maybe it's doubting yourself every time you want to try something new. Whatever it is, acknowledge it. Because once you identify it, you can start replacing it with a habit that builds you instead of breaking you. If you're with me on this journey, write in the comments, I choose discipline. Let's make this public. Let's make it real. Because the moment you declare it, you start owning it. Breaking free from destructive patterns is not easy, but it is possible. I know because I lived it. And the same way I turned my life around, you can too. One habit, one decision, one day at a time. When I first started changing my life, I didn't begin with anything big. In fact, my changes were so small that nobody else even noticed. And that's the beauty of it. Success is built in silence, long before the world applauds you. I began with small daily wins, waking up just 15 minutes earlier, drinking water before I grabbed my phone, reading a few pages of a book each morning, writing down 3 goals I would finish no matter what. None of these things made me feel like a superhero. At first, they felt almost insignificant. But here's the truth. Those little wins started stacking up. Each time I completed one of those small actions, I felt a quiet sense of victory, and that victory gave me the strength to do it again the next day. Slowly, I began to see that my life wasn't changing because of one big leap. It was changing because of steady, repeated steps. Most people overestimate what they can achieve in a single day and underestimate what they can achieve in a year. I was guilty of that too. I wanted instant results, instant recognition. But success doesn't work like that. Success rewards consistency, not speed. And the more I honored those small daily wins, the more momentum I built. It was like planting seeds. At first the soil looked empty. Days passed, weeks passed, and nothing seemed to happen. But underground, something powerful was forming. My discipline was growing roots. And eventually, those roots broke through the surface. That's when real transformation began. I remember the first time I looked back after 90 days of these daily habits. I was shocked. I was waking up with energy. I was thinking clearly. I was finishing tasks I used to procrastinate for weeks. People around me started noticing a change in me, even though I hadn't told them anything about my habits. They said things like, "You seem more confident," or "You're moving differently." What they were noticing was the power of daily wins compounding quietly in the background. The truth is, transformation doesn't announce itself. It sneaks up on you. One day you realize you're no longer the same person. And that's exactly what happened to me. But let me warn you, it's not always exciting. There were days when I didn't feel like doing it, days when the bed felt too comfortable, or when distractions called my name. But here's what I learned. When you choose to keep going on those days, that's when the real growth happens. Now I want to ask you, what's one small daily win you can commit to right now? Is it waking up 15 minutes earlier? Is it journaling for 5 minutes before bed? Is it replacing 1 hour of scrolling with reading something valuable? Whatever it is, choose one. And if you're serious, drop it in the comments right now. Let's hold each other accountable. If you're still with me at this point, I know you're committed. So pause for a second, hit the like button, share this video with a friend who needs it, and don't forget to subscribe. Because together we're building a community of people who believe in transformation through discipline. Small daily wins create massive life transformation. Not in a week, not in a month, but in time. And when that time comes, people will look at you and ask, "How did you do it?" And you'll smile, because you'll know it wasn't one big miracle. It was the power of habits, built quietly one day at a time. I used to think motivation was everything. I thought if I could just stay motivated, I could change my life. And for a while, motivation did help me. I'd watch a powerful video, read an inspiring book, or listen to a great speech, and for a few hours I'd feel unstoppable. But by the next morning, that fire was gone. My old habits came back, and I was right where I started. That's when I realized something life-changing. Motivation is temporary, but discipline is permanent. Motivation is like a spark. It lights up quickly, but fades just as fast. Discipline is like a steady flame. It burns consistently, day after day, no matter the weather. There were days I didn't feel like waking up early. Days I didn't feel like working on my goals. Days when every excuse in the world seemed valid. And if I had relied only on motivation, I would have quit every time. But discipline whispered to me, "Do it anyway." And when I listened to that whisper, I grew stronger. I remember one cold morning when my alarm went off at 5:30. Every part of me wanted to stay in bed. Motivation was nowhere to be found. But I told myself, I don't need to feel like it, I just need to do it. And I got up. That single choice shaped my entire day. By the time the sun rose, I had already completed tasks that would have taken me days before. That's the power of discipline. Motivation asks, do I feel like it? Discipline asks, what must be done? And that difference has transformed my life. Motivation depends on mood, but discipline depends on principle. Motivation pushes you for a moment, but discipline carries you for a lifetime. When I understood this, I stopped waiting to feel inspired. I stopped depending on motivation to carry me. Instead, I built systems. I set alarms. I created routines. I made commitments that I would honor no matter what. And soon my habits became stronger than my moods. The truth is, discipline is freedom. It frees you from being controlled by how you feel. It frees you from the trap of starting and quitting over and over again. Discipline doesn't ask you to be perfect. It just asks you to be consistent. And when you show up consistently, you don't need to chase success. Success begins to chase you. Now I want you to ask yourself, are you living by motivation or by discipline? Be honest, because the person who lives by motivation alone will always stop when the mood disappears. But the person who lives by discipline, that person becomes unstoppable. If you're still watching this right now, you've already proven something. You are serious about change. So take this moment and write in the comments, discipline over motivation. I want to see who is ready to make this shift. And while you're here, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with someone you know who struggles with consistency. Let's build a movement of people who rise above moods and live by principles. Motivation may get you started, but discipline will finish the race. And in the end, it's not the one who runs the fastest who wins. It's the one who never quits. That's the person I decided to become, and that's the person you can become too, starting today. When I look back at the biggest changes in my life, they didn't come from one bold decision or a sudden stroke of luck. They came from consistency, doing the right thing over and over again, long after the excitement faded. At first, consistency feels boring. I'll be honest with you, there were mornings when I got tired of repeating the same routines, waking up early, writing down my goals, reading, exercising. Some days it felt like nothing was happening. No applause, no big results, no recognition, just me and my habits, quietly repeating. But then something happened. Slowly, quietly, without me noticing, my life started to change. My mind became sharper, my energy became stronger, my confidence grew, and one day people began asking me questions like, how do you stay so focused? How do you always seem to be moving forward? That's when I realized the world notices consistency. It respects it, even when it pretends not to. Consistency is the great separator. While most people start strong and quit when things get hard, the consistent ones keep moving. They are not ruled by moods, they are ruled by principles, and over time they build a reputation, not through noise but through steady action. I remember watching others chase after shortcuts, jumping from one idea to the next. They wanted instant results, but months later they were still in the same place, frustrated and confused. Meanwhile, I kept showing up quietly, one day at a time, and months later I was ahead, not because I was smarter, not because I was luckier, but because I was consistent. The truth is, success does not like noise. It whispers to the ones who practice greatness in silence. It bends toward the man or woman who shows up daily, not once in a while. And that quiet force of consistency becomes magnetic. It pulls opportunities, people, and respect into your life. Consistency is also about identity. Each time I repeat a habit, I cast a vote for the person I want to become. When I wake up early, I'm casting a vote for discipline. When I finish what I start, I'm casting a vote for reliability. Over time, those votes add up, and soon they don't just shape my results, they shape who I am. Now let me ask you, what do your daily actions say about you? If someone followed you around for a week and watched your habits, would they see strength or weakness? Would they see discipline or distraction? Because whether you admit it or not, your consistency is telling the world who you really are. And here's something powerful I discovered. Consistency compounds. One small habit done daily builds momentum. That momentum creates progress, and before long you've transformed your entire life without even realizing it. That's the quiet force of consistency. It doesn't shout, it doesn't boast, but it changes everything. If you're with me so far, I want you to make a public declaration. Drop in the comments, "I choose consistency." Let the world know you're serious. And while you're here, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video, because together we are building something bigger than ourselves. Remember, anyone can be motivated for a day. Anyone can be disciplined for a week. But few can stay consistent for months, even years. Those are the people who win. That's the kind of person I decided to become, and that's the kind of person you can become too, if you commit to consistency starting today. One of the hardest lessons I had to learn on this journey was that habits demand a price. Success is not free. It requires sacrifice. And if I'm being honest, in the beginning, I didn't like that truth. I wanted the results without the cost. I wanted the rewards without the discipline. But life does not work that way. There were times when I had to say no to things I really wanted in the moment. I had to turn down nights out with friends, long hours of entertainment, and endless distractions. I had to trade comfort for growth. At first it felt painful. I felt like I was missing out. I would see others enjoying themselves while I was grinding quietly in the background. But over time I realized something powerful. I wasn't missing out, I was leveling up. Every sacrifice I made was building me into someone stronger. Waking up early meant I sacrificed sleep, but it gave me focus. Studying when others were relaxing meant I sacrificed ease, but it gave me knowledge. Exercising when I didn't feel like it meant I sacrificed comfort, but it gave me energy. Slowly I began to see that sacrifice was not a loss, it was an investment. And here's the truth I want you to remember. You are always sacrificing something. Either you sacrifice your comfort today for your growth tomorrow, or you sacrifice your future tomorrow for your comfort today. Either way, there is always a price. The question is, which price are you willing to pay? For me, the turning point was when I stopped seeing sacrifice as punishment and started seeing it as preparation. Each time I said no to a distraction, I was saying yes to my destiny. Each time I gave up something small, I was making room for something greater. That shift in mindset changed everything. Of course, not everyone understood. Some people laughed at me. Some people said I was being too serious, too focused, too disciplined. But those same people later asked me how I managed to change my life. They didn't see the price I paid, but they admired the rewards I earned. So let me ask you, what are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to sacrifice an hour of scrolling to build a new skill? Are you willing to sacrifice late nights of comfort to rise early and chase your goals? Are you willing to sacrifice excuses so you can finally live the life you dream of? Drop your answer in the comments right now. I'm willing to sacrifice for my future, because once you declare it, you begin to own it. And if you're still with me, I know you are serious about growth. So pause for a moment, hit the like button, share this video with someone who needs this message, and subscribe to join this journey. Because together we are not just dreaming about success, we are preparing for it. Sacrifice is the price of habits, but the return is freedom. Freedom from regret. Freedom from weakness. Freedom from being controlled by moods and distractions. And when you embrace that truth, you realize that what feels like pain today is actually shaping the person you'll thank yourself for tomorrow. So remember, the path of habits is not always easy. It will demand something from you. But in the end, what you gain will be far greater than what you give up. That's the price I paid, and I can promise you it's worth it. When I first started building habits, I thought I was only changing my actions. Wake up early, read, exercise, plan my day. That's what I focused on. But over time, I realized something much deeper was happening. My habits weren't just shaping my actions, They were shaping my identity. Every small choice I made became a vote for the person I was becoming. When I woke up early, I wasn't just someone who got out of bed. I was becoming a disciplined person. When I finished what I started, I wasn't just checking off a task. I was becoming a reliable person. When I chose learning over wasting time, I wasn't just gaining knowledge. I was becoming a wise person. Slowly, I began to see myself differently, and that's when the real transformation began. You see, the greatest shift in life doesn't happen when the world believes in you. It happens when you start believing in yourself. For years, I struggled with doubt. I told myself I wasn't enough, that success was for others, not me. But my habits started rewriting that story. Each time I honored a commitment to myself, I gained a little more confidence. Each time I kept a promise to myself, I built trust with myself. Before long, I didn't just feel motivated, I felt unshakable. I no longer wondered if I was worthy of success. I knew I was, because my habits proved it to me every single day. This is what I call the identity shift. You stop asking, can I do this? And you start saying, this is who I am. And when that shift happens, everything else follows. Success stops feeling like a dream. It starts feeling like your natural state. Let me give you an example. Before, I used to struggle with procrastination. I'd tell myself, I'm just lazy, that's who I am. But after months of disciplined habits, I began to see myself differently. I wasn't lazy anymore. I was someone who took action. And once I accepted that new identity, my actions aligned with it automatically. That's the power of habits. They don't just create results, they create identity. And identity creates destiny. I want to pause here and ask you something important. How do you see yourself right now? Be honest. Do you see yourself as disciplined, focused, strong? Or do you see yourself as someone who struggles, someone who gives up too easily? Because the way you see yourself matters. And the good news is, you can change it. Starting with your habits, you can literally rewrite your identity. If you're serious about that shift, type in the comments right now, I am becoming disciplined. Let's make it real. Let's declare it together. And while you're here, don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe, and share this message with someone who needs to hear it. Because transformation is not just for me, it's for anyone willing to build the habits that create a new identity. My friend, understand this. Your habits are not small. They are statements. They declare to the world who you are and what you believe you deserve. When your habits say, I am disciplined, the world responds with opportunity. When your habits say, I cut corners, life responds with disappointment. It's brutally fair. So choose your identity wisely. Build habits that align with the person you want to become. Because when your habits and your identity match, success is no longer a question. It becomes your reality. That's the transformation I experienced. And it's the transformation waiting for you. There came a point in my journey when something remarkable started happening. Opportunities began to appear in my life, not because I chased them, but because I had quietly prepared myself for them. People started trusting me, respecting me, even seeking my advice. And that's when I realized strong habits make you a magnet for success. You see, success doesn't like desperation. When you chase it frantically, it runs away. But when you build yourself into someone disciplined, consistent, and trustworthy, success comes looking for you. It's like gravity. You don't force it, you attract it. For years, I used to wonder why some people seem to get all the breaks, all the opportunities. I thought they were lucky. But the truth is, luck is simply preparation meeting opportunity. Those people weren't lucky, they were ready. And once I became ready through my habits, I started experiencing the same thing. I'll never forget the first time someone said to me, I don't know why, but I just feel like I can trust you. That trust didn't come from my words, it came from my habits. Because habits show the world who you really are, even when you're not speaking. When you show up consistently, when you follow through, when you honor your word, people notice, even if they don't say it out loud. And it wasn't just people. Opportunities themselves seemed to move toward me. Projects, connections, chances I never imagined, they started flowing my way. Not because I begged for them, but because I had become the kind of person success is drawn to. This is the secret. Success is attracted, not chased. When you align your actions with discipline, when you live with clarity and consistency, you give off a presence that others can feel. You don't have to brag. You don't have to demand attention. Your habits speak for you. And here's the most powerful part. Once you reach this stage, you stop wondering if you are worthy of success. You stop questioning whether good things will come your way. You begin to live with quiet confidence, knowing that opportunities are on their way because you are prepared for them. That certainty is priceless. Think about it. Would you rather be the person constantly running after opportunities, begging for recognition, or would you rather be the person opportunities can't ignore? That's the shift habits create. They turn you into a magnet for everything you once chased. Now let me ask you, are you building yourself into the kind of person success wants to be around, or are you still hoping success will show up by chance? Be honest with yourself because your habits are already answering that question. If you're with me, drop it in the comments. I attract success through my habits. Say it, declare it, own it. Because when you put it into words, you begin to live it. And while you're here, don't forget, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Because together we are building not just habits, but a movement of people who live as magnets for success. My friend, understand this. When you chase success, it runs. But when you build yourself through discipline and consistency, success comes to you quietly, powerfully, and inevitably. That's not theory, it's my story. And it can be yours too. As I look back on this journey, I remember the person I used to be, the one who was always waiting for luck, always blaming circumstances, always wondering why success seemed so far away. That version of me thought success was something you had to chase. But now I know the truth. Success is something you quietly attract by the habits you build every single day. The small changes I made, waking up early, choosing discipline over comfort, being consistent even when no one was watching, those changes transformed me. They didn't just change my results, they changed my identity. And once my identity shifted, my life shifted. That's why I say this with confidence. If I can do it, you can do it too. You don't need to wait for the perfect time. You don't need someone to hand you an opportunity. You already have the power. It's in your choices. It's in your daily routines. It's in the habits you decide to honor from this day forward. So I want to challenge you. Don't just watch this video and feel inspired for a few minutes. Take action. Choose one habit today that aligns with the future you want. Maybe it's waking up earlier. Maybe it's reading. Maybe it's finishing what you start. Whatever it is, commit to it, because your future self is waiting on the other side of that choice. And here's what I promise you. If you stay consistent, if you honor those daily disciplines, success will come to you. Not loudly, not suddenly, but quietly, steadily, and powerfully. That's the way life rewards those who are prepared. Now, if this message spoke to you, I want you to do 3 things for me right now. First, hit that like button. It helps spread this message to others who need it. Second, subscribe to this channel so you never miss a video like this one. And third, share this video with someone you care about, someone you know is ready to start building the habits that attract success. And one last thing, drop a comment below and write, I am building habits that attract success. Declare it, own it. Let's build this community of disciplined, focused, and unstoppable people together. Remember this final truth. Success does not belong to the loudest, the fastest, or the luckiest. It belongs to the one who is disciplined enough to keep showing up, consistent enough to stay the course, and humble enough to let their habits speak louder than their words. That's the person I decided to become, and that's the person you can become too. Build your habits, trust the process, and soon you will see. Success doesn't need to be chased. It will quietly find its way to you.